Hi guys, this is a get ready with me video, just simply because, well, I'm bored. Everybody's kind of stuck at home doing their own thing, so I figured I'd take you along. So, I just got out of the shower, getting ready to brush my hair, do my makeup, all that good stuff, you know, lotion. Well, I figured I'd find some things to actually talk about, but it's probably going to be just a few minutes of me brambling about nothing. The husband's going to be home any minute anyways. He went to go get his blood work done. Not that that's really private, but but it's in the morning, so he had to do that. Now, I do have a couple fresh piercings. This is tea tree oil, if you're wondering, and that's the cat. So she's probably gonna make an appearance or two in this video. But, so yeah, I have a fresh piercing, so tea tree oil is the best thing for any type of body piercings, or, you know, if you get a keloid or hypertrophic scarring, like you guys want to really talk about that. Or like this on my face, the dermatologist cut something off my face and I'm prone to hypertrophic scarring, so that's kind of what that is. I've also already folded laundry, or not folded laundry, I've sorted laundry for it to go out today and be done. My washer and dryer takes forever because it's one of those washer dryer combos, and it doesn't have one of those heating coil things, so it doesn't actually have a real dryer, and it's kind of nice. The only thing that I don't like, sometimes it takes 4 hours or more to dry, but my clothes definitely look better. I don't have as much, you know, dryer lint, dryer fuzz, whatever you call it. So, you know, that's one of the good things about it. Or the husband's talking about bringing Wendy's breakfast home, which, if I hear, I think the dog's already barking. Let me get my breakfast and I'll be back. And I'm back. Got my breakfast, started in on it. Takes me a little while to eat, so you might see a bite every now and then. So basically, I'm gonna kind of do my makeup. Not sure what I'm gonna do because, well, the shop's minimal open because of the coronavirus, so I'm basically filling some online orders, doing some online readings, that kind of thing. So we'll see how all this goes. So I was thinking about doing a casual Friday, I was thinking about doing a casual Friday, but all in all, sometimes it's just a little too much, like less work. Thinking about being a little bit more casual. Trying to decide on what colors I want to use, what I want to do today. I'm thinking a little bit more natural look, because right now, you know, I have this really nice Jeffree Star palette, but I hate wasting really good expensive makeup on, you know, days that I don't have much human contact, because the dog, he doesn't care what I look like either way, right, Bobo? Oren, come here, come here, come here. You want to say hi? He's being camera shy. He's just kind of staring at me. So some of the concealer, primer, whatever you want to call it, I use e.l.f. because I use quite a bit of it. Not that I use a lot, but it's just frequently used. Most of my makeup now that I have is vegan. I'm not vegan. Don't think that I'm vegan. But I definitely see a problem when we test makeup products on animals. So I went all vegan as far as makeup goes. The only non-vegan makeup that I have left actually is my MAC concealer, my MAC foundation, only because it was expensive, so I'm gonna use it up just because it's already been purchased. Throwing it away is not really gonna do anything, it's just gonna waste money. And the animal, because I've had it for a little while, but it's still not expired yet, so I'm just gonna use it until it's expired, and then I'll make sure for certain that I go with something vegan. Now, for anybody who cares, the makeup brushes that I use, they are called unicorn horns, and it's actually a really nice unicorn cosmetic company, they call it. Unicorn brushes. Now, I do have this guilty little pleasure here. I don't know if you can see. It's a Lisa Frank unicorn brush, and I use it for fallout. So, yes. Now, normally what I do last, excuse me, I usually do my foundation and highlighting and stuff last because of the fallout. And I'm probably not going to do a whole lot today because, like I said, there's not been a whole lot of human interaction, and I don't really like wasting a lot of makeup just to sit at home and be with the dog, because he does not care what I look like. I could be smelly and sick and all kinds of other stuff, and that dog is not gonna care. So, I'm using a Kat Von D palette, Lolita Porvita. And I have the smaller one too, which is the pink shades, and then I have the earth tones, which is a pretty nice palette. My husband doesn't like the name. He says in Spanish it's not a nice phrase. I don't know, or at least the meaning of it. Something about little girls, I don't know. But it makes him uncomfortable. He says he doesn't like it, so. So let's see, I'm gonna try and let you see here, but. So what is it we're going to talk about? We need a subject to actually talk about so that we can enjoy our time together this morning. And I don't want to talk about the Rona, simply because it's probably on everybody's mind. Everybody's been talking about it. Every podcast that I'm on, they mention it, or somebody's talking about, you know, what it's doing and all this other stuff. And here I am, just now I said I didn't want to talk about it, and here I am just kind of gabbing about it, right? Like, you just said you didn't want to talk about it, but guess what? You're talking about it now, right? So, yeah, here we go. So I'm going to paint on my eyebrows. See, I don't really have big, thick eyebrows. And it's probably because in the 90s, let me see if I can turn this exposure up so you can see. There we go. It might be a little bright, but you can see me better. Yeah, in the 90s, we had a tendency to overpluck sometimes. We liked our eyebrows nice and thin. And, you know, old habits die hard. And I still kind of like mine a little bit on the thin side. At least I don't like them bushy. I don't mind them dark. I don't mind them a little bit thick on the outsides, but I really don't like the whole bushy eyebrow thing. It reminds me of the 80s. I'm thinking that the 80s are coming back, and all these people that are getting like microblading and their eyebrows getting huge. I'm not talking about to fill something in or make them look good. I'm talking about like some of these ones where your eyebrows look like seagull wings, and you get like a permanent tattoo or something. I think you're gonna regret it. It's all about enhancing your natural eyebrow shape. So if you're a little confused on what to do when this whole thing is over and the salons and stuff reopen, I would suggest going to see a professional. I would suggest gonna go see your eyebrow professional. If you see, got one eyebrow on, when others see what I mean by filled, it's still my natural shape, but it's like filled, and you can actually see that I have eyebrows. One good thing about it, I don't have hair on my arms or my legs or anything. I think I shave maybe twice a year. So yeah, that's a good perk. Not hairy. Like, you really want to know that I'm not hairy, right? No, sorry. You're gonna hear me hiccuping and making all kinds of weird noises because I did eat And I actually have, if you haven't seen my video on how I've lost 83 pounds, I would suggest checking it out. I kind of explain what's going on, and I mentioned it in a couple videos, but I have a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and I had some ulcers fixed, so when I eat, I start hiccuping and making some weird sounds and stuff like that, simply because of the nature of my, let me move you, because of the nature of my surgery. So you might hear clicking and stuff out there. That's the cat. She's playing with a rubber band outside of the door. She sounds like she's trying to break in, but I promise I don't have a creeper out there. The husband went to the back. He's finishing up some project in the back, some painting and stuff like that that really needed finished, where our laundry room is and where we have our laundry stuff and general thing. So, but yeah, the shop is gonna be opening here in a little bit. I don't even know what time it is. Let me check. Yeah, it's 10 to 11. I still have time. Quite a bit of time, actually, so I don't need to feel rushed. One thing I don't like is feeling rushed when I'm doing my makeup, because then I feel like I come out looking like, you know, Krusty the Clown. Bad Krusty impersonation. My dog's looking at me like I'm insane. He probably thinks I'm insane. Here, let's turn you around so you can see. I can't even turn you around. I don't know how. Let's turn you up so you can see me. There we go. For some reason that keeps moving around. Oh yeah, should I warn you I'm eating? I think I did. I think I mentioned it takes a while for me to eat, so I can't help that. So I'm sorry if anybody gets offended by eating, but sometimes I graze all day long. Take me all day to eat a sandwich. And to be honest, I shouldn't eat bread. I actually kind of eat, come here. Come here. He's standing right outside the camera where you just can't see him. Come here. You want to come say hi? Come here, say hi. Come say hi. See, this is Oren. Let's see if I can get him. This is Oren. He's more interested in my breakfast. This is Oren. He's so cute. He's really interested in breakfast because the husband had a sausage gravy and biscuits, and I put a little bit of sausage on my plate for the dog. I actually don't eat pork. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video, but one meat product I really can't eat is pork. I can't eat hardly any type of pork, and I shouldn't eat any type of pork. I can't eat any pork byproducts, nothing like that. For some reason, it just kind of makes me extremely sick. It's not for religious purposes or anything like that. But maybe it's because pigs are on our intelligence level. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is, basically, pigs are related to the elephant. Elephants are kind of related to us. They're very extremely smart. They grieve, they have feelings. All animals have feelings. They get scared, playful, happy, you know. So I think it had something to do with eating something on your intelligence level. Like if we're cannibals, we can really hurt ourselves. So I think that's a really weird way of looking at things, but I've always had kind of a weird outlook on things. So the colors that I'm using, Promethea, Besitos, and Hermosura. I don't speak very good Spanish, but this color, this color, this color. And I'm thinking about going in with a Sereno, which is this color, and then highlighting with this, which looks more of a brown than a purple, but you know, these are nice colors. I do the brown sometimes, but this is like a lighter pink. And I'm thinking about going in with Jeffree Star's color. I'll pull that out in a minute. So yes, I'm mixing Kat Von D and Jeffree Star. I don't care. These are the two palettes that I have. I've currently put quite a bit of money into the all vegan palettes, stuff like that, because I actually used to use Clinique, and I found out that they sell to China, which China actually makes them test on animals. So if a company sells to China, not made in China, but sells to them, they have to legally test on animals, and that's something that I really am against. So I quit using them. I've used their perfume and everything since I was a kid. I want to say I've been a Clinique fan since I was in 7th or 8th grade when I started being allowed to really wear makeup. My I don't want to say my parents. My mom wasn't so strict on makeup. She didn't care as long as it looked good. But Dad was a little bit more strict on makeup and different stuff like that. So eventually I got to wear makeup, and I always kind of wore the more expensive stuff, which at the time was Clinique, and they're still kind of on the expensive side if you think about it. I mean, not as much as Urban Decay if you're really into like different brands and stuff like that. And me, I'm not a brand loyalist, but I definitely have enjoyed the Jeffree Star. The Kat Von D is nice for really casual kind of stuff. Jeffree Star is a little bit more bold. And I don't want to make this video all about makeup, but it's just happened to be what I'm doing. And I don't know if you can really see me. So, yeah. So it's hard to see if I put the light in my face. You can barely see what's going on. But I promise it's there. You can see a little bit. I'm not one of those makeup gurus, and I don't have all that really nice makeup settings, you know what I'm talking about? The stuff that's like super nice, super bright. I do have a ring light, but it's really hard to set up on the bed. And unfortunately, I don't have a vanity or a dressing table. We're thinking about putting one in. The bedroom's a little bit small, and we have a very large king-size bed if you can't see. But my husband's a big guy, and I was really big too, so we really needed the king-size bed. And he still kind of sleeps like a starfish. Like, okay, yeah, one of the things I wanted to show you, how you know it's vegan, you'll see like a little rabbit or a little heart, you'll see it. And some of them are really prominent. They'll just say vegan. If you can't see that right there, the little heart, it says vegan right in the center. So I would honestly, even if you're not a vegan, I would honestly look at brands and make sure that you're looking at something that is, or at least try, because there are fake eyelashes and everything out there, and I was unaware that they were actually made with real mink fur. Like, and I'm not about that either. I mean, if you're in the wilderness and you gotta hunt an animal and eat it for survival, that's different than a pair of eyelashes, you know what I mean? Or if you need a coat and you live in a place where, hey, you can't always get the warmest wool, or there's no sheep, and yeah, I gotta kill a bear to wear the coat because I'm gonna freeze to death. Hey, that's part of survival. And I'm not talking about survival, I'm talking about makeup. I'm talking about sheer vanity, is really what I'm talking about. A lot of spiritual people, and I would kind of consider myself spiritual. I read cards, I have a shop. If you're following my channel here on YouTube, you know that I have a shop. I'm very spiritual. I'm very aware, and I'm very aware what other people are doing, how they practice their spiritualities, their faith, all the way up to, you know, Muslim, Christian, the Islamic faiths, anything like that. I'm fully aware of what is required, what is needed, what is wanted for these particular faiths. I'm also versed in secular beliefs such as atheism or the lack of thereof, agnostic, all that kind of stuff. So, but I think a lot of these faiths and different belief systems, I think a lot of people are afraid of vanity. They all kind of shy away from vanity, and they all kind of agree that vanity is not something that has a place in spirituality. A lot of people give up makeup, or they shave their heads, or they do something really extreme with their appearance so that they can focus more on spirituality than how they feel. But I think that making yourself feel good is part of your confidence level. And a lot of people talk about, oh, you don't want to be in the ego. Well, the ego kind of makes you who you are. When the ego is not working in perfect harmony with your spirituality, that's when we become in trouble. But if you actually are in harmony with your ego and your spirituality, I think it's absolutely fine, because your ego is kind of your personality. It's who you are, and it's what it makes you, who and what you are. So that's kind of my belief on ego. So it's not really about, because when people talk about ego, I don't think they understand quite what they're talking about. And I hear a lot of, when I worked in Casadega, I worked for this psycho lady, and she was always like, oh, you can't act in ego, and ego this, and ego that, and be out of ego, and do this, and do that, and blah, 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 blah. Well, she completely was always in her ego. Everything was about her. Everything was about herself. It was about what she was doing. She called it a tarot deck that she was in the making of, that kind of thing. It's really an oracle deck, and I'm not even going to entertain the name of it, because, like I said, and I'm all up for people doing this, doing work, putting out their tarot cards, their books, their whatever. I mean, because without them, without the authors and stuff, we'd still be stuck in the 90s. We'd have these same few books on paganism and Wicca, and nobody has any idea what's going on, and you'd have to look in the deep dark bayou in order to check out hoodoo and anything that's off the beaten path, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but because a lot of people like to keep this a secret. But the one thing I don't really like is how she would just continuously bash on the ego or other people if somebody did a little better than her that week. Because when you work in a shop, a lot of times you split things down the middle, 50-50. Some shops, some of their policies are a little bit different. Some take a little bit less. Some even take a little bit more. But I want to say the average is like 50-50. So if you work in the shop, you are going to take home 50%. They're going to take home 50%. But this lady, anytime you made a week better than her or anything like that, she would get extremely jealous. And finally it got to the point where she was really struggling. And not only that, I could tell they were struggling financially, and they made up any excuse in the book to get rid of some people. And they would just kind of do what they needed to do. So, and that was in order to make her feel better. But we'd always trade readings and whatnot, and I was warning her that eventually things were going to go south between her and her husband, and she never believed me. Eventually they got divorced. Eventually the shop shut down, all kinds of different stuff, all kinds of different drama that I really don't even really care to get into, because it would just be kind of entertaining, the idea. But to be honest, it was kind of for the best. Then after that, I moved to Universal Studios, and I worked there for a while. Worked in the lab, worked in Universal Studios as a reader. Eventually got, met up with my husband after an absolutely horrendous horrendous relationship with my ex-husband, who we're gonna call Voldemort. We always kind of call him that, he who shall not be named. The demon from the dark, basically. It was actually a demon from across the pond. He was a British citizen. And I still till this day believe that he used me and my family to make it to the United States. I don't think it really had anything to do with being attracted or loving me and my family. It just had everything to do with him and his alternate agenda, but eventually that also got straightened out. So not to tell you my life story, but that seems to be where this conversation is headed, because then I met up with my current husband, who I've known since high school, and we actually re-met back down in Florida, and we both went to school in Ohio, so we were both like 1,200 miles away. Ended up being in the same location in Florida, well, almost. It was like a half hour away from each other, that kind of thing. We met online and just got together at first for just coffee and kind of someone to talk to, a friend, a familiar face, someplace that lived in the same stomping ground, that knew what you were talking about when you talked about it. You know, if we talked about a certain pizza place or something like that, we knew exactly what each other was talking about. And it was kind of nice. It's actually really nice. So, you know, and then things just kind of happened from there. So sorry if I'm a little silent. I can't do my eyes and talk because they wiggle. I'm not that good. So but I hope everybody's week is going good. And hope that we all start back to work soon. I know a lot of people have been dealing with some stuff. A lot of people have been suffering a little bit. Not being able to work, or places simply shutting down. And as a small business owner, I don't really think I don't think this is good for the economy. And one of the main things that's kind of helping me out, my family, well, not only my husband's a paramedic, but simply because I sell herbs and soaps and hand sanitizers, stuff like that, so I can still stay open as an essential. Despite it being a metaphysical shop, which I've taken precautions. I'm the sole employee. I've also been walking orders out to the curb, to the side, to the car side, curb pickup thingies, which a lot of places were suggesting. You know, the CDC suggested it for the restaurants, stuff like that. So I've been trying to comply mostly with what's going on there. So yeah, I've been doing quite a few readings. Which maybe that's what we should do. See, it's coming together. See? A little bit at a time. Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe I should grab my cards. Ooh, look. That light in my face looked like Morticia. You know, when they do the film and she's all dark except for her eyes. So maybe I'll do another get ready video with me, and we'll do a morning card pull, because I do that sometimes in the morning and my cards are sitting here, but I actually cleaned off my nightstand. Yes, I'm eating and doing makeup and I don't care. And I'm talking with my mouth full. So, we've been using this downtime in order to revamp the shop a little bit here and there. Let me fix you. There we go. We've been using this downtime to redo the shop a little bit. We went and bought hardware, which is going to have the sliding pocket door kind of in a way, but the barn door looking thing. I'm sure you guys have seen it. And it slides back and forth. It's better than an in swing or an out swing, so that there's no issues with, excuse me, there we go. So that there's no issues with the door opening and knocking stuff off the shelves or anything like that. Plus it's going to give my reading area a little bit more privacy, which is what I really needed. But we went down to get the hardware for the door. It was like $150. Okay, no problem. These are oiled bronze. They're really heavy. They're gonna hold a really heavy door. They're specific function. So okay, that's perfectly fine. We went down to get the door. $700. 700. I said, that's crazy. And my husband's like, no, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna create our own. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So the wall is separated. You can see right in the reading room, but there's no door. So I think that's quite it's quite funny. So I hope the husband is going to be building that door very soon. He said he could build one. He said he's probably going to redo it out of scrap wood or recycled pallets, anything like that, because it actually doesn't need to be too heavy, because it's just separating the reading room. It's not an actual outside door or outside to inside. It's not supposed to keep a hurricane out or a tornado or anything like that. So unless you consider me a hurricane. So okay. But anyways, I'm about done, so I'm just going to have to get dressed, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to bring you guys along on that journey. Yes, I've lost quite a bit of weight, but I'm definitely not going to be doing any booty shots or anything like that anytime soon. So I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I hope everything is just how you want it. And maybe tomorrow, when I get ready for Saturday, maybe we'll end up doing a like a card pull in the morning or something like that. So thanks for coming on this little venture of getting ready with me and listening to me gab, especially if you've made it to this point already. So don't forget to mash that subscribe button, hit the bell, get some notifications. I'm trying to get some entertaining stuff out to you, but I do talk a lot of tarot. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about hoodoo, so we'll see. Thanks a lot. Bye.